Recently I was on Tumblr, as per usual, and I have been stalking a bunch of these like literary editing blogs. And so there's this whole community of people who make these wonderful edits for underrepresented or underrated books, and they're beautiful, they're gorgeous. But as I was scrolling, I found this post, and it was about a book that I had never heard of before, and it's starting to actually get a lot of hype. It has kind of like a weird cult following on Tumblr, and it's slowly making its way over to Twitter, and I'm obsessed with it. It's my new favorite thing. I think everybody should read it. It's like the best thing ever. And what's really fascinating about it is that it's self-published. I think there's a stigma with self-published books because for some reason people think if it's not traditionally published that it can't be good. And this book, this book is the whole reason why that argument sucks, because this book is incredible. So the book I'm talking about today is The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. If you haven't, I am here today to convince you to pick it up and read it. So this isn't going to be a review, it's just going to be me telling you all the reasons why this book is wonderful. Number one, right off the bat, this book is written by a biracial woman of color. Olivie Blake is her pen name, it's not her actual name. She actually has another book traditionally published coming out in the future by a different name, but she is underground. She has a lot of works under the name Olivie Blake. So if you're looking for more adult romance, sci-fi, fantasy type of thing, that's her. She's wonderful. She is such a ray of sunshine. I love her so much. She makes videos on YouTube. She's constantly posting on Tumblr. She's just like a wonderful human being. But she's a woman of color, so if you're looking to diversify your stacks a little bit, this is the perfect book to do so. It's diverse. It's wonderful. Along with that, it is also gay as hell. One of the best parts about this book is that not only is it super diverse, there is a wide variety of races and people represented, but it's also gay, and it is, oh man. Like, my favorite part about this book is you can ship pretty much everybody with everybody else depending on what evidence you're using. So if you're looking for one of those like really vague, like super gay, but like you're not really sure who belongs with who kind of book, this is that book. I can ship everybody all at the same time and somehow it works. If that is drawing you in, you're like, okay, Jen, I get it. It's gay, it's diverse, like what more? Tell me, what is it about? What is this book? This is a dark academia book. It is God tier dark academia because not only is it set post-college, but it is also magic dark academia, which is like the best kind of dark academia. So this book actually is inspired by the Library of Alexandria. So if you're one of those kids who was really obsessed with that and you wanted to know why the library burned down, what's going on, what if it had survived, that's this. This book explores what would happen if the Library of Alexandria had actually burned itself down on purpose and went into hiding and has been protected all these years by a group of magical witches and wizards type of thing. I don't even know what they're actually called. They're just magical people. So it explores that kind of world. It's about protecting the Library of Alexandria. It's called the Alexandria Society. And so the whole premise of the story is that at the beginning we have 6 recruits, these 6 magical people who come together, and for a year they are told to study and learn and to decide basically if they want to work in this society and protect the library itself. It's a lot of learning about magic and figuring out philosophy and time and various other things. It's really, really fascinating and so well done. I cannot express to you how well done it is. But again, another thing that I really love about it is it's set post-college. So pretty much all of these people are in their mid to late 20s. It is definitely an older book. It is not for children. There are some more sexually explicit scenes, not too many, but there are some. And so it's just older. If you're looking for that dark academia vibe, but you don't want college and you don't want high school, allow me to present The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. So one of the reasons why I actually love this book is it feels like it's a compilation of all of my favorite types of stories and my favorite things. So if I had to give you some comp titles for this book, settle in, buckle up, let me tell you. Number 1, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. If you love that book, this is same vibes, not quite as complex, a little bit less vague and a little bit more concrete. Similar vibes and atmosphere though, same thing, same deal. Inception. If you like Inception and you like the group squad dynamic of Inception, that's kind of what this book feels like. Additionally, this book kind of plays with time and philosophy and things that I think are touched on a lot in Inception. So if you like Inception, you'll probably enjoy this book. If We Were Villains by ML Rio. If you haven't picked that up, it's kind of The Secret History is another type of situation. It is dark academia. Both of those books are set in college, however. But like the dynamics, the dark creepiness, the killing of your friends, maybe, maybe not, who's to say, that kind of vibe, this book. We also have The Umbrella Academy. So I think this is more for the TV show than the comics necessarily. But if you like the Umbrella Academy TV show, same vibes. It's like humorous. It has such a great like main cast. There are so many plot twisting questions of things that you are not really sure how they work, but like eventually they kind of get answered. But also you're like, how did this happen? Is it going to be an end of the world situation? We don't really know. Who's to say? Another comp title. So I don't know if you've heard of this series. It's called the Thorn Chapel series. I haven't actually read it. I've read parts of the first book, but I haven't really fully read it because it's a lot. It's a lot. But the Thorn Chapel series is dark academia. It is adult, but the whole thing of Thorn Chapel, I feel like, is it's just like a bunch of adults who are like kind of in love with each other, but can't really decide if they're just like lusting over each other, or if they're romantically attracted to each other, or like what. There's like all this like sexual obscurity in that series, and that is in this book. Like I told you, you can ship pretty much anybody with anybody, but it's really like anybody's game. All of them are gay. All of them are in love with each other, but they probably don't know it. And like I just am feeling a lot of things. So if you like Thorn Chapel, this is not quite as, it's definitely not as steamy as Thorn Chapel. It's not as sexually explicit, but there are a couple of steamy scenes, and like that dynamic of people is in this book. Also that is about a library and dark academia stuff. So like I think there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. The final comp title I have is very weird and obscure, and I'm not sure everybody's gonna get it, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway because I think it is the whole crux of the book. So a couple summers ago, I went to the beach with one of my friends, and we were just watching stuff on Netflix trying to find something. So we clicked on this really random movie with Bonnie Wright. Bonnie Wright is in this film. She's more of a minor character than anything else, but she is in this film. Ginny Weasley's in this movie. And so this movie is, I think it's called After the Dark or The Philosophers or something like that. And the whole premise of this film is it's a classroom of students and their professor, and for their final exam, they're basically trying to like reason out the end of the world. So they get set these parameters, and they're like, okay, like you're set in like this kind of world, and this is how the world is ending, and you have to like bunker down into this like random place and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it's a really weird movie. It's not well done at all. I don't think about it on a regular basis, but the whole premise of the book is talking about philosophy and humanity and like how the two interact. And that, the whole premise of that movie and the feelings I got while I was watching that is like this book, except this book executed it 10,000 times better. So if you've seen that movie, if you've gone down the rabbit hole, it's like that movie, but like better on all levels. And that's not even like all the comp titles I could give you. It's literally just like all my favorite things in one book. It's dark academia. It plays with time and philosophy. You have questions about sexuality. You're learning about magic. The Library of Alexandria, but it was magic. Like, I cannot stress to you how much I am obsessed with this book. From page one, I was immediately hooked. Another thing to point out is this book has pictures. It doesn't have a lot of them, but pretty much every section will have a portrait of one of these, the Atlas Six. And so it's just like beautiful. I read it on ebook because I'm an ebook kind of person, but like the physical is stunning. And this is a self-published novel. Like, are we sure? Are you sure? Are you kidding me? Like, look at the back. The graphic design, incredible, wonderful. In conclusion, at the end of the day, this book is really just everything you could ever want. And it's well written, it's funny as hell. The plot twist got me every single time. And on top of all of that, there's gonna be a sequel. So the second book, The Atlas Paradox, comes out fall 2022 and or winter 2022, depending on how quickly she writes the book. But like, there is going to be a sequel, and I have so many questions and so many high hopes for this sequel because this first book was just so well done and so incredible. And I don't want to like hype it up too much and have you hate it, but like truly this is one of my favorite books of 2021. I am a huge Olivie stan now. I love her so much. She's incredible. I will be reading the rest of the books that she has written. And I think at the end of the day, my biggest thing is to remind you that like self-published books, they have the same energy as traditionally published books. They're just not as widely read. So that means you can get on the bandwagon. You can enjoy this before anybody else because nobody else has read it. You can buy this on Amazon. Please support Olivie Blake, the love of my life, my reason for living. If you've read The Atlas Six and you want to talk about it in the comments, please let's discuss. I am obsessed. I love them so much. Who's your favorite character? Mine is probably Nico. I love him. But yeah, if you have questions, if you want to know more, please let me know in the comments. Talk to me. Let's talk about this book because it's the best thing ever. And if you want to see like a more real review of this book, I will be posting my Goodreads review down in the description so you can check it out there. Please read this book. It's so good. You'll love it. I promise. Oh!